Thank you to Real Change Organizing Project for organizing the hell out of this rally and the camp out. I think the first lesson is, do not piss off an organized city. Why are we here? That's what I've been asked to talk about. And I said, when they asked me to do that, couldn't you give me something a little easier? I can't tell people why we're here. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. This city is a city that has so much money that it can solve the homelessness problem. But we're not asking this city to do it alone. We're asking the city to do it in partnership with activists, with service providers, with the county, with the state, with the federal government. And we are putting pressure on all those other entities because we expect the city to be our ally in getting us the resources we need to end homelessness. Now, given that, it is beyond me why this administration would ever think that what it wants to do is to make an enemy out of some of its strongest allies in that fight. But that's exactly what they've done. Let's hope that 2008 turns over a new leaf for the city of Seattle. I'm going to give a very brief set of background information. I think a lot of you know the basics of why we're here. For some reason, known only to them, city officials made the decision that people who are sleeping outside, and let's be clear, this is not just people living in parks and greenbelts. This is people living at 6th and Yesler. This is people camping out under a bridge. This is people under the viaduct. This is people in doorways. This is all the people who inconveniently happen to be both homeless and outside. Those are the people who don't fit in our shelters. Those are the people who don't fit in our transitional housing programs. Those are the people for whom we do not yet have enough permanent housing. Now, those people number a minimum of 1,600 in the city of Seattle. We know that because many of you participate in the one-night count of people who are homeless every single year. Seattle is a leader in this respect, too. We've counted the people in our communities who don't have shelter or housing for 27 going on 28 years. That is too damn long. 1,600 people in the city of Seattle is how many people we counted last January. That is way too many people, but we know it's not everybody. How many people are we going to count this January? Well, I really don't know what to tell you about that, since many of the places where we have been going to count people are places that the city has decided to evict people from. This is not a humane policy. This is not a policy that is consistent with King County's 10-year plan to end homelessness. This is not, in fact, anything to do with ending homelessness. How does evicting people who are already homeless from the places where they are struggling to survive ending homelessness?
It's wrong!
You're damn right it's wrong.
Monstrous!
So we found out about this because we saw that people who were being sent to do what the city has very reasonably done for years, namely go into places where there have been concerns expressed by neighbors about garbage, about debris, about abandoned campsites. That turned into evicting people with no notice. That's illegal. That turned into evicting people without giving them any resources or any opportunity for a meaningful place to spend that night. That's immoral and stupid. The other thing that happened is that people had their entire worldly possessions thrown away. Also illegal, also immoral, also stupid, and also something that the city can solve. In 1996, the city of Seattle had a policy, which they don't have at the moment, for dealing with encampments. And that policy actually had a couple of things in it that we'd like to see back in play. One of those things was giving people notice. We want very real, sufficient notice. Whether you like it or not, people are living in these places, and notice is what they need to be able to find the next place to go. We want outreach, and I'm thrilled to hear that the city is starting to talk about outreach. There are a lot of good people who work in the city, and a lot of them know that outreach is what has been needed. But there's a big, fat but. The but is, when we went to the city council 2 months ago and said we want $275,000 for real outreach and engagement, what we wanted was not just for people to go out and talk and work with people over time. We wanted them to have motel vouchers in their hip pockets. Because if you're telling somebody that they have to go, you have to have somewhere for them to go. Yes. So the but is, great. City of Seattle, thank God you're starting to see the light. What we want to make it really work is more resources. We need additional capacity in our shelter system. We need day centers and hygiene centers that are open longer, because let me tell you, the shelter that's behind me here at City Hall, which the city very humanely and intelligently opens up on nights like tonight, when it's too damn wet and cold for them to even let people stay outside. Those shelters have notices saying show up at 9, but don't come before 9. Now I understand that. They have very tight budgets. But those budgets need to be expanded, because people have to be somewhere before 9 p.m. What we really want is we want a serious recommitment, not a commitment. We've had a commitment, and the city did well in some respects by the commitment. We want a recommitment from the city of Seattle at every level to really ending homelessness. That means we do not accept 1,600 people on the streets without anywhere to go at night. We do not accept that we have a total of almost 8,000 people on the streets and in shelters and in transitional housing. And we are going to work to make sure that the funding is here at the city level, and at the county level, and at the state level, and at the federal level. And believe me, it's a hell of a lot of a better idea to work with us than against us.
You want to know something? I'm a minister. And that was a sermon, if I ever heard one. Thank you, Alison. This rally has been brought to you by the Real Change Organizing Project, a new effort by the great street paper Real Change. Rebel Smith. Set me free.